Hey crafters, welcome back to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. My name's Safia and today I'm sharing a card that I'm making using a couple of items from Fawn's latest release. So I have the It's a Tree stamp set and dies Heart Tree, and It's a Bird stamp set and dies. And then I'm also using this meadow backdrop just to kind of give my card something to sit on. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is take my backdrop and cut it out on this light green paper. This paper is double-sided, so I could have done the dark green or the light, but I decided to go with the darker green just to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. Also, this backdrop has a little bit of a lip on it where you can lift up the second layer of the grass just to give it some dimension. But I decided to kind of go over it with my Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just rubbing that in to the areas that have the grass detailing. Later, I realized this wasn't enough, and I did decide to add some marker on there as well. But to start, I just did this, and then I'm going to add some watercolor onto there as well. So I just took my Distress ink and put it onto a block, and now I'm just going to splatter that all over the area. And then I covered the top part with my metal plate there. I guess I could have used something else like paper maybe, but it was there, so I used it. So now I'm just going to set this off to dry, and I'm going to do my stamping for what's going to go onto the card. I decided to just use my Misty to do that. It always makes it so much easier when you're stamping multiple images, especially big ones like this tree. I'll show you right now, like I'm just stamping all of this down, and look, half the tree didn't even stamp. So if that was on a block, I would have had a lot of trouble, but because it was on my Misty and I knew exactly where it was sitting, I just kept going over it multiple times until I had a crisp image, and I think I was happy with that. So now I'm gonna start coloring. And I did leave the entire coloring process in this video so you can see exactly how I did it. I did speed it up a little bit. So I started with E59 and I added some shading all along the right side of the tree. Now I'm taking E57 and I'm gonna blend that E59 out. Then I came in with E55 and tried to blend that out even further. I felt like the E55 looked very different from the E57 for whatever reason, and so I went over it multiple times to kind of blend everything together. Now I'm taking R24 and I'm doing my leaves in red. I kind of wanted this to be more of a cooler pink, but it ended up being more of a warmer red color, and that's okay. I was just trying to emulate what my tree looks like in the spring, and it's always like some light pink leaves, which I think is like it's filled with light pink flowers. I guess the leaves are still green, but I wanted it to look like a tree that was in bloom, so I did the pink leaves. Now I'm using that R20s just to add some more color to the mice there. I put their clothes, I gave one a pink hat and one a pink shirt, and then I did two of my birds in pink as well. And then for the actual mice themselves, I decided to use the lower part of the E50 series. So I started with E53 and then just worked my way down to give those mice some shading. And then I took some yellows. I did Y35 and Y21 for those birds. And then I also brought in my colorless blender and made everything a little bit lighter on the tummy areas of those birds. For the rest of the mice's clothes, I didn't want to add any more colors, and so I just brought in gray, and I did the rest of them in gray and the binoculars in a neutral gray dark color. I think it was N5 and 4. No, it was N6, sorry. So now I'm just getting all of my dies and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. And that is all of my images. For the background sky, I decided to use Tumbled glass, and I just took a white piece of paper that was smaller than the green frame, the backdrop, and I added some tumbled glass into there. And I wanted to leave a little bit of the bottom white, and so I'm just taking my ink and I'm kind of blending that through to make it look a very light blue kind of in the middle. Again, I'm going to use my paintbrush and some of that ink to just splatter on top to add some texture to that sky. And once I was done, I did use like a little paper towel and just dry it. So now I'm taking my frame and I'm carefully adding some liquid glue onto there. This is the back of the frame that I'm adding the glue to. And then I'm just going to take my sky and I'm going to glue it right to the bottom of that. Now I wanted to do it upside down just so I could see where that paper was landing, and it just made it easier to glue everything down. Now I'm going to take this part and I'm going to put it onto a regular white card base. For that, I'm using liquid glue as well. It's just the easiest when you're putting something like this down. You don't want it to be stuck in one spot. You want to be able to move it around so that you know you have it centered correctly. And then now once this is down, I'm going to start putting my card together. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the tree. And I decided to just put that down in liquid glue because there was already some lift on this card to begin with, and I want to be able to send it out in the mail. So I decided to just do that with liquid glue. For the mice, oh, and I added my pink heart onto that little area there just so that it kind of matched up with the tree. And then for my mice, I decided to put them on foam squares just to kind of lift them up and make the card look a little bit more dimensional. So I'm gonna add one of the mice to the right side of the card, and then it kind of took me a while to decide where I wanted that left one, and I finally got it. Then for the rest of the birds that I'm putting on, I just used liquid glue. I didn't really want them to be flying off the card over the mice, and so they're kind of in the background, and so I used liquid glue for that. Now I've just got this "You Make My Heart Sing" greeting, and I'm going to stamp that to the very bottom of my card. It ended up being a little bit darker on the left side, but I did come back in with my stamp very carefully and tried to make the other side a little bit darker as well. Now I'm just stamping on some music notes so that it kind of matches the "You Make My Heart Sing" part of the card. So the birds have got to be singing, right? And then I kind of felt like there was that the grass wasn't really standing out to me. And so I came in with YG17 and just went over some of those grass blades just to make them stand out a little bit further. Then I'm bringing in the "Happy Birthday" little greeting, and I'm just stamping that in an area off to the left of the card just because it looked a little bit empty there. And then I decided to add one more music note just underneath that. And with that, my card is complete, you guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. If you have, please go ahead and check out the other designers on our team. There's 2 videos here for you to watch if you want to keep going, and have yourself a good rest of the week. And if you've liked this, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks. Bye.